Hey, good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Jason, can we please have a roll call?
Okay, Council President Perez.
Here.
Councilmember Van.
Here.
Councilmember Benedetti.
Here.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
Here.
Councilmember McIrvin.
Here.
Councilmember Prince.
Here.
And Councilmember Corman.
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all present.
Thank you, Jason. Next up is administrative report from Robert Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, City Council. Good to see you. I have a couple items for us this evening. First, to help make every Earth Day in Renton, to help make every day Earth Day in Renton, the Solid Waste Utilities created a fun Earth Day bingo challenge for all ages that will run through May 4th. To share with the community small changes we can make to take care of the Earth, participants can post their photos and bingo card on social media with #EarthLoveRenton, or I should say hashtag. I'm showing my age. In addition to the Earth Day Bingo Challenge, the Earth Day at 50 newsletters from the Utility Systems Divisions provides tips and information on conserving resources and saving money. These items may be found on the city's website at www.rentonwa.gov/Earth Day. And just a reminder to enter, if you're interested in entering the K-12 2020 Census Art Competition, that deadline is this Thursday, April 30th. To enter, you can create art for census awareness and email a photo of your creation to rencensus@thevoiceofplanet.com. Thank you. That's all I have this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, next up is normally audience comment. In response to COVID-19, council members are attending this meeting remotely. Due to security concerns, the video conference identification number is not being shared publicly. City Hall is closed, so no in-person comments will be accepted. However, residents are encouraged to participate in a variety of ways. First, residents may submit comments in advance to cityclerk@rentonwa.gov. Second, residents may also call in to 425-430-7171, then enter code number 0033665# to listen to the proceedings. Third, residents may view the proceedings live on Renton's Channel 21. And fourth, residents may view the proceedings streaming live at rentonwa.gov/streaming. Okay, next up we have the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Council President Perez.
I move the consent agenda to be adopted as published. I'm sorry, to be adopted as published.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Council President Perez, seconded by Councilmember O'Halloran, that the council consent agenda be adopted as published. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up, we have unfinished business. First up is Council President Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Van.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Benedetti.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember McIrvin.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Prince.
Mr. Mayor, the Finance Committee has a couple of committee reports.
Okay, Finance Committee reports. The first is for approval of claims and payroll vouchers. The Finance Committee approves the following payments. Accounts payable, total payment of $7,006,065.44 for a number of vouchers and one wire transfer. Payroll, a total payment of $1,497,958.35 for payroll vouchers, which includes 624 direct deposits and 4 checks for the March 16th through March 31st pay period, and a Kidder Matthews vouchers of $21,140.79. This is unsigned, but I request a floor vote. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Prince.
I move that council concur with the Finance Committee Report.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by Councilmember Van, that the council concur with the Finance Committee Report. All in favor say aye.
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 Nay. Motion carries.
Okay, the next-
Okay, and then last up is Councilmember Corman.
I'm sorry,
One
Mr.
more committee report, Mr. Mayor.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, I have one more report. This one is regarding the 2020 carry forward first quarter budget adjustment and fee schedule amendment. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve an amendment in the 2019-2020 budget appropriations in the amount of $137,996,543, with the total amended budget to be $845,572,113 for the biennium. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve an amendment in the 2019-2020 fee schedule as noted in a red line version. And the committee further recommends that the ordinance regarding the 2020 carry forward and first quarter budget amendment be presented for first reading, and that the resolution regarding the fee schedule be presented for reading and adoption. This too is unsigned, but I call for a floor vote, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Prince.
I move that council concur with the Finance Committee Report.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by Councilmember Van. The council concur with the committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. Now
No
we're on
comment, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Corman.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have one item, Planning and Development Committee report to present.
Okay, the P&D Committee report is regarding the Penny Lofts Multifamily Housing Property Tax Exemption Agreement. The Planning and Development Committee recommends concurrence in staff's recommendation that Council, 1, waive the application deadline, 2, approve the Multifamily Housing Property Tax Exemption Agreement that addresses the terms and conditions for the Penny Lofts project to receive a partial property tax exemption for 8 years upon completion, and 3, authorize the mayor to execute said agreement in substantially the same form. This too is unsigned, so I request a floor vote. Thank you.
I move the council concur in the committee report.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Corman, seconded by Councilmember Gervin, that the council concur with the Planning Committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. So next up, we have legislation, and we have one ordinance for first reading.
Okay, this ordinance is regarding the carry forward and first quarter budget amendment, and I do want to clarify that the resolution for the fee schedule will be on next week's agenda. An ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, amending the City of Renton fiscal years 2019-2020 biennial budget as adopted by ordinance number 5898 in the amount of $137,996,543.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Prince.
I move the ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by Councilmember Corman, that the ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Next up, we have new business. First up is Council President Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On March 4th at 5:15, we will have the Committee of the Whole via video conference, and we will have 3 items on the agenda. 1, affordable housing update, 2, civic core and downtown update, and 3, Renton Municipal Arts Commission update. And the City Council meeting will be on May 4 at 7 o'clock via video conference as well. That will be it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Councilmember Van.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. On May 4th, Monday, we will have a Community Services Committee at 4:30, and the topic we'll be discussing is summer recreation update. And additionally, I move to refer the matter of doing a resolution similar to the City of Redmond regarding COVID-19 and bias and stigma to the administration.
Okay, motion's on the floor. It's been moved to move to the administration a resolution similar to the City of Redmond about cultural virus. All in favor, say aye. Actually, no, I'm looking for a second. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
for the sake of the conversation, I'll second the motion.
Okay. It's been moved by Councilmember Van, seconded by Councilmember Prince. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor. Oh,
I heard three people at once here. Council President Perez.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to clarify if this referral to be similar that the one that the City of Renton passed includes also other minorities that have been affected by COVID-19. Specifically, there, unfortunately, the African American community, as well as our Latino neighbors, have been the minorities that have been extremely impacted by COVID-19, and lately also they have been target of hate crime. But we have encouraged them to keep wearing face masks when they go out. But unfortunately, they have been targeted by some members of the community also with some kind of discrimination. So the resolution from the city of Redmond address all these issues. So I want to make sure that the resolution that is on the table will be addressing these hate crimes as well.
Okay.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Council President. Just in light of the last several weeks and our community members contacting me about it, and especially with racial profiling within our Black African American community while wearing masks, and we're supposed to be wearing masks for safety. So it's definitely something that is alarming. And folks who are within undocumented communities are having to show their paperwork as known as to have essential job while they're actually going to work. So those are all the biases surrounding that have been coming up. So,
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Prince.
So, Councilmember Van, some of the examples, are these examples that you're hearing are happening in Renton? Like the showing of papers and I just want to get clarity.
Yeah, well, the showing of paper has not been in Renton yet, but the other one has. Yeah.
Which other one?
Are we still on?
I just want to try and understand what is, first of all, I have read the resolution that the Redmond Council adopted, and I think that there's a lot of great content there, and I think that it gets to what it is that Council President Perez was speaking to in terms of looking at the myriad of biases and discriminations that are happening now as a result of this pandemic. What I'm wondering is specific to how it is that we address a resolution versus a proclamation in this city. As I understand it, a resolution ties to it some kind of administrative action. And I'm just wondering, what is the administrative action that we are hoping for in the resolution as opposed to having it be a proclamation? Thank you.
Yes, this is the first I'm hearing of this, so we would have to find that out.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Council President Perez.
I would like Councilmember Van, if she can respond the question from Councilmember Benedetti, because I want also to understand what is the end result of her intent to move a resolution instead of having a proclamation.
Okay, Councilmember Van.
Yes, I think the first thing is, as council, we actually don't do proclamation culturally here. So that's why I'm kind of caught in this middle of, do we do proclamation or resolution? And then as this matter is being referred to the city, obviously the city can choose to do a proclamation. But what I've been told by seasoned council members is that we don't do proclamation as a council. So I went for the other route. Now, the resolution, as far as why resolution versus proclamation, I think that there has to be some acknowledgement within our council and the city that we resolve this matter, and that certainly that there are ramifications of, like we say, there are zero tolerance for hate crimes and so forth. So it's not necessarily just a proclamation, we proclaim this, but there is actually going to be certain potential enforcement. Again, it's non-binding, it's not an ordinance. And we can defer that to city attorney because,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember O'Halloran.
I would like to understand how this is different from what we've already supported as a body.
Councilmember Van, would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, I think what we supported in the past several weeks ago was actually a proclamation of an individual and a community. It's really to celebrate that community. It's not really to address the issue of, now that I'm learning a lot more from our community members that are, telling me about the wearing masks incident and so forth. I think there's a broader issue that we need to look at, is the consequences that are arriving from COVID-19. Because of COVID-19, our communities of color are hugely affected by it. And that we didn't really address it in, a proclamation, quite frankly, just to acknowledge the community's contribution.
I respectfully disagree. I believe that we did address hate crime in general in our community in the proclamation that we supported a couple of weeks ago. Thank you.
Okay, so, and, this is one of those issues where this kind of speaks to the heart of our city in terms of being a diverse city that basically looks through the lens of inclusion on everything we do. And we do have quite a few proclamations out there. There's one hanging just out in front of my door that speaks to a lot of the similar language that is in the resolution in Redmond. And that being said, I don't know that's saying that message again is a bad thing. I just want to make sure that we're clear on what it is that we're trying to accomplish so that we can achieve that. If what we're trying to accomplish is make sure that our community understands that we don't tolerate hate crimes, I really hope that message is out there loud and clear. And if we need to continue to breathe that message life, I don't have a problem with that, and I actually support that. But if there was something else that I was missing in terms of what it is that we are trying to accomplish with this, it would just be helpful. So, any other communication or clarification at this point?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Yes, so what we're trying to accomplish with the resolution here is that we really want to talk about the COVID ramification with communities of color. It's not just hate crimes that we don't tolerate, but what we're seeing is that there are a lot of folks in our community who have been affected greatly because of their ethnicity, because of their race, their skin color. They can't even wear masks. So really just to differentiate, it's not just an inclusion, a proclamation of inclusivity. It's actually what has COVID-19 brought. What's the effect of it within our communities, and so.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, all you want. Okay, Council President Perez.
I just want to clarify two things. One is that we are one of the few cities in Washington State that actually in our business plan we have very clear state that we are a city that we will not tolerate hate crime. With that say, I don't think with that guidance, I'm saying it is very clear for each department head that our major goal as a city is to be equity and inclusive and a welcoming city. I mean, it's in our business plan. So the only confusion that I still have is what Councilmember I don't remember if it was Ojalá Benedetti brought to the table, that if we are requesting a resolution, as far as I'm concerned, our police officers are already have a very clear guidance how to protect our residents as well as every department head. So if this is a resolution to give guidance to our administrators, I would like to know specifically what is the message, what is the guidance, because if not, I will agree that the proclamation that we just passed state that even though it doesn't state that it's a result of the COVID-19, I will say that that's also truth.
Okay. Council Member Benedetti.
Yes, I was going to, and I don't know if at this point it would be appropriate to have guidance from the city attorney. I absolutely support the idea of making a statement around the specific impacts of COVID-19 on communities of color in our community. I think that is something that I would absolutely support. I just need to understand, and this is again why I would reach out to the city attorney for this, the difference between a proclamation and a resolution in this context, whether or not it can be directed by council that we look at creating a proclamation at this, and if that is an appropriate action, if that is something that we can do, or if there is if it has to be some kind of resolution, and if so, what it is that we would do, what action would it be at the end of that resolution. So if it is something where we could direct that it be a proclamation and not a resolution, that is something that I could support.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Tuttle, could you turn your mic on and speak to that quickly?
So in my estimation, the resolution would be a statement of policy that has the force of law made by the entire city. If it's adopted by the council, decided by the mayor, it's essentially on equal footing with an ordinance in terms of having the force of law. A proclamation is a statement of policy. I don't know that either one. It would really depend a lot, I think, on the wording in this context to find out what exactly we would be trying to say, and then therefore ask to enforce. But that's what I see as the key distinction here that we're talking about.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Council Member?
Yes, it does. So let me feed back what I understand from this, okay? Which is that if we were to go the proclamation route, that is a statement of policy. That is a statement about what it is that who it is that we are, what it is that we do. And a resolution would then require some kind of guidance around the force of law because of that. Is that correct?
Well, yes and no. I think a resolution can carry the force of law if, for example, we were to pass. It would just depend on the wording, I guess. If we're stating the council's policy, we are standing against X, or we, as a city, do not condone X, then I think they're pretty equivalent. But it just if you want to carry the force of law, a resolution would be a formal legislative act of the council and something beyond, I think, a proclamation.
Mr. Mayor.
And hold on one second. I'll get to both of you. And if I'm not mistaken, there are laws on the state books that would supersede any kind of rule that we would put in place in terms of regarding hate crime. But okay, let's. Who was next that wanted to speak? Okay.
Well, I could go next. I don't mind deferring to it. Okay. All I was going to say was I was just going to address. I think that with regard to proclamations, I've seen many times where a council member has suggested a proclamation, and the administration has followed up by preparing one and vetting it through various staff and running it through legal, and then sending it in advance to the council even. And then finally reading the proclamation at a council meeting, and the council will concur. So it really does the council can be very involved in that. I know that we recently had an incident where I think a council member wanted to be more engaged in drafting a proclamation, and frankly, I don't have a problem with that either. But it still should go through those other hoops of getting vetted and going through a legal review, I think, to sort of fit with the protocol. And yeah, I usually think of a resolution as actually coming out and issuing a statement or a policy change that we haven't done before. So we're really sort of almost creating new policy and making a statement of that new policy, whereas a proclamation is restating or reinforcing or just sort of vocalizing, proclaiming values that we hold dear. So, I mean, in this case, I can see it going both ways. It's certainly it's part of, as has been mentioned already, it's part of our business plan. It's part of our core values that we care about all of our populations. At the same time, I guess they're facing something that we haven't seen in a century, which is new. So I could see it going either way, and I'd be happy to have this referral go to the administration to review and come up with a proposal, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Councilmember Prince.
Randy kind of sort of stole my thunder. What I was going to say is, since we're referring this to the administration, I think the administration can come back with the best course of action on what we should take. And if I'm correct, it said similar to the city of Redmond. Didn't say exact. So if the administration came back and thought the proclamation was the right course of action, then I think that'd be part of what the referral process is intended for.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember O'Halloran.
Thank you. So since we have an umbrella statement about intolerance and hate crimes and discrimination in general in our community, are we under obligation to revisit that with every issue that comes up during the course of as we go through history, our modern history together? Do we need to revisit that and make a new proclamation with respect to every single incident that falls under that umbrella policy?
Yeah. So I guess my reply to that would be, something as important as this, I don't see the harm in kind of restating our values as a city, and that was our intent with the proclamation that we already passed, was to kind of twofold reiterate kind of the things that are important to the city, and do that by honoring a member of the community at the same time. And what I'm hearing from Councilmember Van is that maybe that didn't hit the mark in terms of what she was looking for. I don't see any harm in it. I mean, we go year in and year out and we claim, this to be this day and that to be that day. I just don't know that. The reason why I think going into it this deep is to make sure that there's something that we're not missing, so that we can get it right and achieve the goal, whatever the goal is. So,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Council President Perez.
If the goal here is to make clear and spell it out that we do not tolerate, as a city of Renton, any hate crime towards any minority due to the COVID-19, I mean, I am okay with that. But I also agree with Councilmember O'Halloran. We cannot keep putting a proclamation in every single thing that we already have done in the past. And as a member of the community of color, I'm going to tell you that political statements are political statements. What I do care the most is that I feel protected, that I really feel in my everyday life in Renton that I'm not harassed, that I'm not discriminated, and they are not biased towards me. So at the end of the day, as policymakers, we can pass policies, but this is at the end of the day implementation. And we have working very hard to to have policies in place that will protect our diverse community. So I'm happy to refer this to administration, but I agree with Councilmember O'Halloran. We can say in every single proclamation and resolution that we pass that we are inclusive city and we will not tolerate hate crime. But I don't think sending that message over and over is our communities that are feeling that make more safe or not.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Councilmember McGurven? Is that who I heard?
Yes.
Okay.
So I just want to speak to two items on this. First is the issue of the resolution versus proclamation. I'm certainly going to be supporting the motion. I think whichever, like Councilmember Corman said, whichever direction we go, I think I'm okay with. I think I can see the resolution in terms of reaffirming and doing my quick homework while I was sitting here on the Redmond ordinance, Redmond resolution. It certainly seems like you could make a statement of policy to reaffirm our values, and that is our core values of who we are. So I don't certainly see in a time of uncertainty when people don't know and have fear of what the plan is and what that means to them. I think that in itself somewhat justifies it. So to respectfully disagree with the notion that Councilmember O'Halloran brought up, that do we do this every time? I don't think anyone's denying we're in uncharted territory, and this is kind of hopefully a once in a lifetime sort of thing. And if it gives a little bit of certainty in uncertain times, I think reaffirming is the right thing to do. So I'm all for it.
Okay. Was there another hand on the floor? Okay, so we can take a vote if there's no more conversation on this. So, okay, the motion is to refer to the administration the possibility of a proclamation or resolution similar to the one adopted in Redmond. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Any other new business, Councilmember Van?
no, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Benedetti?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember O'Halloran?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember McGurven?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just need to announce that the Transportation Committee that was scheduled for Monday, May 4th has been canceled. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Prince?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Corman?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Well, that is it for new business. Anything else for the good of the order?
Move we adjourn.
Second?
It's been moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by everybody else that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.